Assalamualaikum. My name is Aisha Alia binti Hanif Yusabra, metric number 1915682. Today my group will be presenting on the novel that we have studied, Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale. Our main focus for this presentation is to explain how Donald Trump's election as the US President is an important context when reading The Handmaid's Tale today. But before that, we will quickly cover the author's biography, the novel summary, and its settings. Margaret Atwood is an award-winning, internationally recognized Canadian writer, now living in Toronto, with more than 40 works of poetry, critical essays, short stories, and novels. Atwood pursued her degree at the University of Toronto and her master's at Cambridge University. According to an article I found, here are her top 5 essential novels, with the top one being The Handmaid's Tale, followed by The Year of the Flood, The Blind Assassin, Elias Grace, and The Penelopiad. 2 of her works have been made into screen adaptations, with both The Handmaid's Tale and Elias Grace becoming miniseries in 2017. As a summary, the dystopian novel introduces us to the Sons of Jacob, a religious extremist who overthrew America and became the Republic of Gilead. Now Gilead is a totalitarian and theocratic state, which means that the dictatorship is led by religious principles. The narrator of it is a handmaid who is forced by the government to carry on the task of conceiving babies for Serena Joy and her husband, the commander, who Offred has to live with. Her flashbacks reveal that she was the daughter of an activist who is against the conservatives. She is a close friend of Moira, who attended college together, and she's married to her husband Luke, and they had a daughter together. As the story progresses, Offred goes to meet the commander in his office without anyone else in the household knowing. Even though women are forbidden to read, the commander insists to play Scrabble with her. Offred's personal relationship with the commander continues until later on he takes her out to an illegal club where Offred finds Moira as a worker there, knowing that she escaped the Red Center for the second time. Finally, when she returns home, Serena Joy catches Offred and a van arrives to arrest her. The novel ends with an epilogue of a discussion in a university conference on Gileadian studies in the year 2195 regarding the story's events found on cassette tapes.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Wan Aisha Mardia binti Wan Ahmad Zakri, metric number 1911684. I'll be explaining about the settings of The Handmaid's Tale. So this novel is set in the future version of United States, specifically Cambridge, Massachusetts, during a period where the community or society is affected by some sort of environmental catastrophe. Because of this environmental pollution, most of the population is sterile, which leads to a decline in the birth rate. Because of this, women are experiencing discrimination, where they are being restricted to their freedom of choice and so on. The other setting that could be found in this novel is during the year of 2195, where it is seen that Professor Pixoto is having a presentation and discussion about Offred's cassette tapes that contain the story of The Handmaid's Tale. And the settings of this novel are somehow related to this context in the United States, in which Trump's presidency is associated with prejudice against women and ignorance in dealing with environmental issues that will be later explained by my group members.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Asnawi bin Azmi, metric number 1919755. I will be explaining 3 points on how Donald Trump's election as the US President is an important context when reading The Handmaid's Tale today. The first point is anti-abortion. According to the report by CBS News 2020, President Trump had appointed 200 federal judges. These federal judges have successfully reversed the Roe versus Wade summary, which is the protection of a pregnant woman's liberty to choose whether or not to have an abortion without excessive government restriction. Most of these judges are vetted for their anti-choice positions, and this has encouraged more abortion bans and restrictions. This act by President Trump is similar to the story in the sense that in Gilead, the government controls all aspects of people's life, including birth rights. They enforces strict rules and punishes the disobedient. For example, in chapter 6, page 37, besides the main gateway, there are 6 more bodies hanging by the necks. Their hands are tied in front of them. Their heads are in white bags tipped sideways onto their shoulders. This is an example where doctors who have performed abortion in the past and considered disobedient is hanged to death. The second point is anti-women policies. According to the report by the New Republic 2020, Trump's election is the most misogynistic campaign in the modern history. He has encouraged his supporters with toxic masculinity. Also, he has pushed for anti-women policies at every level of government, from the Department of Education to Health and Human Services. This is similar to the story where the government imposed anti-women rules that take away their rights. For example, in chapter 1, page 9, as we tried to sleep in the army cots that had been set up in rows with spaces between so we could not talk. In this example, it clarifies that women are not allowed to talk aloud with each other. Additionally, in chapter 33, page 222, this rope segregates us, marks us off. It keeps the others from contamination by us, makes for us a corral or pen, so into it we go. This example shows that the women in the story are separated into their different stations, which includes the wives, handmaids, martyrs, and econowives. Lastly, the third point is Women for Trump. The Women for Trump is a political movement in the US made up of women who support the presidency of Donald Trump. Based on a report by the New Republic 2020, the Women for Trump proclaimed that no matter how many women have accused him of abuse and support policies to abolish women's liberty, he is still, in fact, empowering women. This group is similar to the aunt class in the story, who uphold the Republic of Gilead's order in indoctrinating the handmaids inside the re-education center. For example, in chapter 1, page 10, Aunt Sarah and Aunt Elizabeth patrolled. They had electric cattle prods slung on tongs from their leather belts. This example clearly shows that the aunt class, who are women, practices violence against their own gender with full support for the government. That is all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Sharfanu Aziza, metric number 18222814. I'll be presenting the next 2 points, which are women as commodities and environmental issues. According to the New Republic article in 2020, Donald Trump has been treating the women who are close to him, like his daughters-in-law, and especially his wife, Melania Trump, as a commodity or a deal enhancers, where he uses them as a way for him to achieve something or to make him look better. His wife is also labeled as a decorative and a polite wife, as she has to submit and show her support for Donald Trump in public, or in another word, faking her happiness through the world, even though there are so many videos of them showing lack of affection towards one another. This is familiar to the Handmaid's Tale, where the women are being treated as an object. Although the wives are being placed in the second highest rank in the caste system, their role is very insignificant in the society. They are not allowed to go to work, rather they only have to stay at home. This can be seen in chapter 3, page 19, when Alfred said, maybe it is just something to keep the wives busy, to give them a sense of purpose. This is when Alfred was talking about Serena Joy knitting. Despite being the wife of the commander, the wife still does not have a major role in the society, that they find purposes in doing small things like knitting, gardening. Another example is from chapter 3, in page 22, when Offred said, the wife in my posting before this had spent most of her time in the bedroom. The Martha said she drank. So this shows us how unhappy the wife is, even though they are on the second top of the caste system in the Republic. Okay, so our last point on how the election of Donald Trump as the President of the United States is an important context while reading The Handmaid's Tale is related to the environmental issues. Donald Trump is known for his ignorance on so many things, and one to be highlighted here is how ignorant he is about science. Because of his scientific ignorance, he has caused the removal of 90 environmental regulations and rules. Due to this, the death rate that are caused by poor air and water condition has increased rapidly ever since the removal of the regulations. This situation is significant to The Handmaid's Tale, as the reason for infertility is due to the environmental chaos, including the air and water pollution, which motivates the son of Jacob to overthrow the government. For example, in chapter 19, page 118, when Offred said the air got too full, once of chemicals, rays, radiation, the water swarmed with toxic molecules, all of that takes years to clean up, and meanwhile, they creep into your body, camp out in your fatty cells. Who knows, your very flesh may be polluted. Dirty as an oily beach, sure death to shorebirds and unborn babies. So here, clearly we can take this as a warning for us on the seriousness of the problems that can be caused by the polluted environment.
In conclusion, our group has identified and analyzed the highlights of Trump's presidency, and therefore it could be inferred that Donald Trump's election as the US president is indeed an important context when reading The Handmaid's Tale today. We have mentioned about how Trump's leadership shares the similarity with Republic of Gilead's system in the sense that both governments impose the notion of women disempowerment, such as the implementation of anti-abortion and anti-woman policies. These policies are somehow similar to the system of Republic of Gilead, where women are being oppressed and manipulated, and they are experiencing discrimination and prejudice, where it could be seen that women's rights such as freedom of speech and freedom of choice are being stripped away from them. We have also mentioned about how Trump is associated with ignorance in dealing with environmental issues that results in deterioration of people's life and health, which is similar to the story where the society is affected by environmental disaster. Before we end our group's presentation, we hope that all of the information and ideas shared by our group will give all of you a clearer and a better understanding of how Trump's election as the US president is a significant aspect in today's reading of The Handmaid's Tale. That's all. Thank you.